If you're a student and you want to stop reading throughout the night to pass an exam, this is exactly what you should do. The system I want to show you will help you cover more handouts in less time if only you just practice it. You understand? So it's called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition. It simply means just read the same handout over again over a period of time and then you are good to go. So the first time you're reading the handout, you might read it now, right? And then the next time you read the handout is after 24 hours, then after 3 days, then after 7 days, then after 14 days, then after 2 months, or let's say 1 month, after 2 months. You see, there are spaces between them. You understand? So the first time you read the handout, the first attempt to the next 24 hours, we call it first attempt. From 24 hours to the third day, we call it second attempt. You understand? From the third day to the 7th day, we call it the third attempt, right? The 7th day to the 14th day, we'll call it the 4th attempt. The 14th day to 1 month, we'll call it the 5th attempt. Do you notice that whenever you read a particular handout the first time, the second time you are reading through that handout, it will become easier to go through. You actually spend less time when you are reading the handout the second time. So this is what you should. Let's assume you want to read a 30-page handout and then you are a very slow learner. So it takes you about 4 hours to go through the handout for the first attempt. When next you are reviewing the handout, the second attempt, you notice it might take you probably 3 hours. Just an assumption. The third time you are going through that same handout of 30 page, let's say it will take you 2 hours 30 minutes. The fourth time you're going through that handout, it might take you 1 hour 30 minutes. The fifth time you are going through the handout, it might take you 1 hour. The sixth time you are reviewing that handout, guess what? It might take you less than 30 minutes. Did you see the system? So when it is time for a test or an exam, you notice that you might read just 30 minutes in class, and yet you will do well in that exam more than people who read for 4 hours. Why? Because you use the spaced repetition technique. Now let's assume you have 20 handouts to read throughout this semester and you keep on repeating the same system for all the handouts. Guess what? When it is time for an exam, you might just spend 2 hours going through all the handouts. Meanwhile, there are other students in your class who might spend like 12 hours going through the handout, and guess what? You will have better understanding than them. You have better recall, and you also retain the information better. So you have better recall, you have better understanding, and you also have an ability to retain the information even more. So practice spaced repetition. It will really help you. The best way to do this particular method is to start reading at the beginning of the semester. That is how you practice spaced repetition. It works like magic. So during a test or an exam, you notice you read lesser, but guess what? You achieve more results than all the other students. Try it.